So this device is pretty awesome. Now, I was gonna do a whole like intro thing, make this all official, but I really just wanted to make kind of an informal video talking about this device, which has been a pretty awesome addition to my home theater. So if you're not familiar with what this is the Auray or Auray HDMI eARC extractor. I'll turn this around so you can kind of see it here. Basically, this solves the issue of having an older receiver with a newer HDMI 2.1 display, and you're playing consoles, Xbox Series X, PS5 on it, and you want the full audio quality out of those consoles. It's not perfect. I'll talk about that a little bit, but I really just wanted to kind of give you my general impressions of this. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. This company, who I'd never heard of before, I actually bought this on Amazon with my own money. It was about 50 bucks at the time of recording, or at the time of purchase, I should say. Let me see if it's still $50. Yep, it is. So you can see here, I bought it on January 6th of this year for 50 bucks. So basically, if you're not familiar with HDMI 2.1 and stuff, if you have a newer display, but an older receiver, and you want a bunch of features from your console on the video side, like 4K 120 Hertz, variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, things like that, you have to plug directly into your TV or display and then use something like ARC or eARC out from your display into your receiver. Normally it's ARC. On an older receiver, it's just ARC, which is like the plain vanilla old school version. Only does up to like Dolby Digital 5.1, 2-channel PCM, no Dolby Atmos support from like the Series X, because the Series X uses the full Dolby Atmos stuff. So you're not getting the full audio quality out of those, or you're sacrificing multi-channel in order to get like the uncompressed PCM. And then in my case, I actually did a whole video, I think last year, about why I use optical in 2022, which is another way to get audio from your display. Because whenever I use ARC, and even Dolby Digital 5.1, I get a slight like 50 millisecond audio delay, which kind of sucks. Like on some games, it's not noticeable, but on other games, like if it's a first person shooter, there's a lot of shooting or punching or something, it's definitely noticeable. Like the audio doesn't really line up correctly with the video. And it's always been an issue I've faced. And then on top of that, if I'm doing any type of upmixing with, DTS Neural X or Dolby Surround upmixer, that adds like another 50 to 75 milliseconds on my receiver, at least, of audio processing delay. So now I'm sitting at around 100 milliseconds, which is a full second of audio delay, and it's extremely noticeable. So for a while, I've actually been just running straight up Dolby Digital 5.1 to mitigate the delay on that going optical into my receiver from my display. And that's always kind of stunk because it's a compromise, right? And depending on your system, it may not be noticeable, but I prefer not to compress already compressed audio from games anyway. So I want to take that out of the equation while also unlocking Dolby Atmos. So what this device does, and I actually have it unboxed here, you can see it's actually pretty small. It's really simple, just a couple of sides here to show you. So you have the power input on that side, which is the micro USB, I believe. You have a couple of flip switches there, so you can turn eARC on or off, and then the EDID you can assign for out 1 or out 2 on the other side, which I'll flip it around here in a second. And then an input. Now the input on this is limited to 4K 60, and we're not really interested in that. What we're interested in is on the other side. So if you flip it around, now you see we have eARC and ARC on one side and then audio. But basically this is the ARC output from your display. And then what this device does is it will strip the audio from that and output it from this here. So this, you go out to your receiver on any input that does not support ARC. So that's very important. Otherwise, this device gets kind of weird and funky. Essentially, now you have full HDMI 2.1 functionality from your consoles or your high-end PC, as well as all of the high-end audio features like linear PCM, 5.1 up to 7.1, Dolby True HD, Dolby Atmos, and then if your display supports it, DTS:X. Unfortunately, the LG OLED that I have does not support that, but I get everything else, which is awesome. And the best thing is, even with upmixing and all that stuff enabled, there is not a lick of audio delay that I can tell. Dolby Atmos, there's always been a slight delay on the Series X for me, even when I go straight into the receiver, and that's still present here with this, but this does not cause any additional delay that I can detect with my ears. I've even used Audio Advice's audio delay video on YouTube multiple times. Now, yeah, you do need an extra extra cables. So you need one cable coming out from your display and then another cable going out from here to your receiver. I'm willing to deal with that because you know what? I didn't spend upwards of $1,000 or $2,000 on a new receiver or pre-pro. Now, eventually I will, because I just want the ability to drive more channels, have more Atmos channels, all that stuff. I just need to upgrade for that, but I'm no longer looking to upgrade just for HDMI 2.1. Now, I will say though, this device is not perfect. Out of the box, like the switches came in the off position, and so I needed to flip both of them up. I wanted to turn the eARC function on and then out one, that's the one that I assigned to the EDID on this side here. That's basically what tricks your display into thinking, hey, they have an eARC capable receiver or soundbar or something, and let's send out, you know, the full signal, full bandwidth signal that we can. On the LG C1 or LG OLEDs, I think you actually have to go in and turn on eARC support to unlock that. And once I did that though, I was able to go into the Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 and select everything. And I'll try to throw up a little footage here of me doing that before and after so you can kind of see exactly, you know, what I was dealing with before and then how it was after adding this. One of the issues I faced was it comes with a little power adapter. It's just a USB cable. It needs like a little DC 5-volt power. And so I had that plugged up to the LG C1. So every time I turned the TV on, it would power it up. And this caused a few issues with it disconnecting sometimes. I don't really know why. I mean, the TV was on, but I would notice all of a sudden I would just lose audio. But once I took it off of the USB power on the LG C1, plugged it into a constant power source where this is basically always on, I have not run into that issue since. You do lose the CEC control, which I'm not a fan of personally, but that basically means that you no longer can turn on your TV and then whatever device it's set to for, like, say you have an Apple TV, it's not going to turn that on automatically or switch inputs anymore automatically. Well, it won't try to. Sometimes I'll be watching the Apple TV or my NVIDIA Shield, and then halfway through a movie, the LG will try to switch over to a different input. They're like, oh, the Xbox or the Blu-ray player is on now and we need to, you want to watch that, right? It can be an issue sometimes. And what I've found is that if I power something on, like say I want to play my Xbox, I'll turn the Xbox on and then I will not change the inputs at all and it's fine. The issues arise when I start changing inputs. Like I'm playing the Xbox for a little bit and then I want to switch over to like Apple TV. Well, if I go through that, eventually at some point it will try to switch back to like the Xbox input or the PlayStation input. So kind of annoying. I don't really find it too big of a deal. But for 50 bucks, this device is pretty awesome. You don't have to upgrade your receiver right now. You get a little more life out of it. You may already just love your receiver. You may have like something that's high end and you're like, you know what? I don't want to spend a ton of money upgrading. This device will basically allow you to not upgrade your current receiver or soundbar and just keep using what you're using if you already love it. So I think it's a pretty awesome investment for 50 bucks. I think they have a higher end version that does allow CEC control. I might reach out to this company and see if I can get one of those to check out for review or something. But otherwise, I'm really happy with the 50 bucks I spent on that. I don't regret it at all. It's staying in my system. It's been about 3 weeks now. I have not returned it. So definitely check it out. And I'll leave a link in the description below if you'd like to do that. And hey, if you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. And also, do you have any experience with stuff like this, like HDMI audio extractors? Let me know in the comments down below. I think other people might benefit from your knowledge or experience. And that would just be cool to connect and chat about it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.